Game number 4 tonight in Dallas of the 2024 NBA Finals. Is it over tonight? Does the NBA season in 2023-24 come to a close with Boston standing atop the association in championship number 18? That would be a record, the most ever in the history of the NBA. Or can Dallas use its home floor advantage to force a Game 5 and keep this series and its season afloat? That is the discussion. Boston now a very slight favorite. 1 point in the spread, 8 cents of difference, minus 112 on that updated money line on the FanDuel Sportsbook. The over-under stands at 211 and a hook. We're talking about a virtual pick'em. There is not a large edge from the numbers, although Boston will officially be listed as the favorite, at least as of right now. We still have a long while till tip at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I asked this question, Donnie, knowing we're talking about a virtual pick'em, but do you agree with the Celtics being a favorite in Game 4 after the Mavericks were a 3-point favorite in Game 3?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I do, because it's shown up that Kristaps Porzingis or no Porzingis, we're going to be just fine here for the Celtics, and a multitude of guys can step up. And also, baked into that number of Game 3, we all understood the task at hand, but the Dallas Mavericks didn't. You had to win that basketball game if you want to hang around in the series, and they didn't. So a little bit of wind out of their sails. Also, what I'm looking forward to is you love to check in with the FanDuel Sportsbook to see where those bets are going. Hasn't changed all morning. It's roughly 70% of the tickets here coming in on the Boston Celtics, which does include 68% of the money. So the backing is there for Boston. I want to see as we get closer to game time what those feelings are, because we know, yes, the public does bet throughout the day, but on a Friday night NBA Finals game, that money's going to start to flood in once people get off from work and get home. Interested to see what that final number would be. I actually would not be surprised if, let's just say, sharp money comes in and pushes the Dallas Mavericks to a slight favorite at -1 before game time, just saying, okay, if we're looking at some of those future lines, Games 3 and Games 4 probably were supposed to be favorites here for the Dallas Mavericks. There weren't any major injuries on the Dallas Mavericks side. It's just that they lost Game 3, so why should we play Game 4? We know we can't come back in the series. That's what I'm keeping my eye on. I want to see what that number does before game time tonight and see if that public can push it around a little bit more.
You would think the odds makers have these things power rated, and they do not often change all that much based on wins and losses in terms of that game-by-game spread. They do get altered by betting and, of course, any injuries. 3-point number in favor of Dallas in game number 3. The Celtics an underdog for just the 4th time all year long. The first time this postseason, they win outright 106-99. Total at 211 and a hook. It is the smallest over-under that we have seen in any of the 4 games so far. Game number 1 had a total at 216 and a half. It stayed under 215 and a hook, 216 for game 2, 213 and a half for game number 3. All 3 games so far have stayed well under that pregame total. And Donnie, this will be the 13th time this postseason for Dallas that they have played in a game with a total greater than 210. The previous 12, 10 of the 12 have gone under for the Mavericks. How do you equate what you think happens tonight with the total?
Yeah, it seems like, and again, I'm going to stick to that philosophy. And again, we're not really late into the series, but we're technically late into the series because one team has 3 wins already in 3 games. So I'm going to stick true to my format. I don't think we're going to see a wide open wheeling and dealing game between any of the teams, because maybe the Dallas Mavericks come in a little bit loose and what do we have to lose? We're down 3 games. Let's just catch lightning in a bottle early, push the tempo, drop a lot of threes, and see if we maybe can get back into the series enough to force a game number 5. But I don't think the Celtics, Ben, have that mentality. They think the Celtics are real loose. Hey, we're up 3-0, but you're on the verge of clinching an NBA championship, which is the goal, which means let's make sure we lock these guys down. Let's take care of the basketball. If it's a 3-on-2 fast break that we don't have the momentum, pull it back out and let's get a better shot, as opposed to maybe in mid-February just trying to ram it to the rim and see what happens at that point here. So for me, I'm going to stick to what I like, and that 211 and a half, I think it stays under the total here. And also, did we point out the fact that, what was it, the Dallas Mavericks haven't reached the 100-point mark just yet, so all of a sudden they're going to score 125 against the Boston Celtics in a closeout game? I don't think so. My lean tonight in this game, that 211 and a half, is towards the under.
89, 98, 99, the three-point totals and output offensively for Dallas so far in this NBA championship series. They have failed to reach the century mark, and this is an elimination game. Dallas trying to stave off their season coming to a close. It is a potential series clincher, where in the final few moments, if things are tight, that intensity ramps up even more so. If you are Dallas, right, where do you find that silver lining after game number 3? Because we know what needed to course correct following the first 2 games. Kyrie Irving needed to be better. He was. In fact, he was the highest point scorer in game number 3 with 35 points. Despite Luka Doncic fouling out with 4 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in regulation, the Dallas duo outscored the Jays. I guess you're hoping that Luka Doncic plays through regulation and does not foul out. That's the silver lining. That's the wrinkle for the Mavs, because I'm not so sure what they fall back on tonight. So we start with the Mavericks and their points prop, 32.5 for Luka Doncic. Probably would have cleared that had he played the final 4 minutes of regulation on Wednesday. 24.5 for Kyrie Irving, who had not hit 20, had not scored more than 16 in Boston, finishes with 35 in game number 3. How many points combined, once again, Donnie, does the Dallas duo need to get to if the Mavericks are going to win game number 4?
Oh, they better be in the 60s. And I think there's a direct correlation here, because if you pick out one player, right, we saw Kyrie go off and he has the ability to do that. But this team will go as far as Luka Doncic takes him. If his head is in the game, he's not fighting with the referees, not fouling out with about 5 minutes to go, you expect him to shoot 25 plus times in this game, because we know superstars the mentality. If we're going out here, it's not because I shot 13 times and tried to get my other guys involved here. You got to take this game over. So I do think there's a direct correlation between that Luka Doncic number, by the way, now to 32.5 and priced out of minus 128. So the heavy juice going on that over number. But I agree with that. We're not betting on the Dallas Mavericks B players. We're betting on Luka Doncic. He needs to be in the mid-30s for them to have a chance to win this game.
Kyrie made 4 threes in game 3. His three-point prop, 2.5. Luka only made 1. For the first time this series, not getting 4. 3.5 the number. More prop combos next. So I do want to make this point, finally, on Luka Doncic's prop for tonight. 32.5 is the points prop. You would think he has to get close to that, probably go over if Dallas is going to win its first game of the NBA Finals in game number 4, trying to stave off elimination. But in the first 2 games, Donnie, he made at least 4 threes. In fact, made 4 in both of those 2 games. And his 3 points prop was 3.5, heavily juiced to the over. He only made 1 triple in game number 3, and of course exited the game early after fouling out with more than 4 minutes remaining in regulation. The 3-point prop now for Luka, 3.5, the over at just minus 128. I do believe you are getting some value there. Now we go to the other side of this matchup, the Boston Celtics and their duo, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. If this series is decided tonight, the most important conversation is who wins the individual award, the NBA Finals MVP. Brown right now, minus 340 to win the hardware. Jayson Tatum at plus 270. And yet Tatum, with a 27.5 point prop, has a higher number than that of Jaylen Brown at 24.5.
It is going to be fun to watch it play, and I'm sticking to my guns at this point here. I do think it's going to be Jayson Tatum, who has a big night tonight. And also, if he doesn't, it won't be for lack of trying. He's going to shoot 20-plus times easily. I look for him to shoot right around 25 times tonight. So we'll get some of these best bets out of the way, and it will be some Boston Celtics-centric type wagers here that I'm waiting on here. Tatum, big night tonight.
Again, we're not sure the next time that we speak to you if a 5th game of the 2024 NBA Finals to preview, probably just a recap of how everything played out in game number 4. We could be looking at a historic postseason run for the Boston Celtics, 80-20 in their 100 games this year, with a victory to close out the season in series tonight against Dallas, 16-2 throughout this playoff run. If they win tonight in the Lone Star State, that would be the 5th best mark in the history of the association. And it would end with championship banner number 18 being hung in Boston, the most ever in NBA playoff history. It does bear repeating, minus 8,000 for the Celtics as the very heavy series outright favorites. This is the 157th time in NBA playoff history, a best-of-7 series has seen a team jump out to a 3-0 series advantage, including both of the conference finals that we have seen throughout this postseason. In the previous 156 times, the team that was up 3-0 has won all 156 sets, and only 12 times have we seen a team even win 2 straight games to force a Game 6, just 4 times to force a Game 7. So, knowing all of that ahead of Game 4 tonight in a huge weekend on the diamond around Major League Baseball and in downtown Omaha for the Men's College World Series, before we say farewell and goodbye, it is time for a best bet. It's time for Bye Bye Bye. Down your right side, what is the best bet on this Friday?
Yeah, we're going to go with the best bet on a Friday night here with the Boston Celtics. I'm going to lay the -1. They will wrap up the NBA Finals tonight and become the 18th champion for the Boston Celtics. But you want some bonus action too? How about Jayson Tatum, 30-plus points at a +140, which correlates right into a +270 MVP for the Finals for Jayson Tatum. So some bonus action to go along with the best bet, Boston Celtics.
Love that plus money sprinkle. My best bet in game number 4 is Derek Lively for the Dallas Mavericks, the rookie reserve who comes off the bench but has made a huge impact throughout this postseason run for the Mavs. And in the absence of Kristaps Porzingis in game 3, 11 points, 13 rebounds for Lively. His rebound prop, 8.5. The over some plus money. His points prop, also 8.5. I like either one. I lean rebounds first, over 8.5 at a +106 price.